Welcome, third graders, to your first Era Analysis Reteach lesson. Today, we're going to be looking at some word problems that involve multiplication and division so that we can work on how to improve our mastery and solve them even better than we already do. Take a look at these two pieces of student work. Let's read the problem together so we know what problem they were working on. If you have a copy of this page, you can annotate along with me. If you don't have a copy, you can write notes on your lined paper. Ari sells 6 boxes of pens at the school store. Each box of pens sells for $7. How much money did Ari make on the boxes of pens? Look at the way student A solved the problem. Look at the way student B solved the problem. Which student do you agree with? Think about it. I noticed that many of us agree with student A. Student B was not on the right track, but student A was. What made student B incorrect? Think about that for a moment. Student B was incorrect because they did the incorrect operation for the problem. If we look back at the problem, it says, each box of pens sells for $7, which means we would need to either do repeated addition or multiplication to calculate a total. Student B used addition. What was it that student A did that was correct? Look at the work of student A to see what they did. If you said student A correctly identified the operation and their answer was correct, you were right too. Let's go back to the problem so that we can make sure that we know how to look for multiplication or division. Ari sells 6 boxes of pens at the student store. If you were annotating this problem, you should have circled 6 boxes because that's how many boxes she sells. Each box sells for $7. The question is, how much money did Ari make on the boxes of pens? We know how many boxes she sold, and we know how much each box sells for. We're looking for the total amount of money she made. Student A set up their equation and labeled it. 6 boxes times $7 for each box is equal to the total amount of money. Student A also set up an equal groups picture to identify the 6 boxes. Student A also counted by 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, and 42 to get a total of $42. What can we do to make sure that we are always using the correct operation? Let's look at that. To make sure we always use the correct operation, remember, our operations are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. To make sure we always use the correct operation, we need to do 2 things. First, we need to identify the action in the problem. What are we trying to find? If we're trying to find a total, we can usually use multiplication or addition. Be careful. As you can see, student B used addition, but it should have been multiplication. Words like each can help us to find out if we should use multiplication, or if we're using addition, make sure it's repeated addition. We can also use a visual model to retell the story and check that our thinking makes sense. You can see that student A not only used an equation that was clearly labeled so they knew what they were trying to find, they also used a visual model to explain their thinking. Student A was right on the right track. In your practice problems today, you're going to see if you can use equations and visual models to make sure that you're using the correct operation. You will have a practice set of problems to work on. If you do not have a copy of these pages, you can write them on lined paper. You also have an exit ticket that you can complete and submit to the Google Classroom. If you need help, please go to your teacher's office hours or any other third grade teacher office hours to get help on your problems or your exit ticket. Have fun with your math today. I'll see you next time.